Commanders somewhat blow out the Detroit Lions 45-31, and this was for sure the biggest surprise of the divisional weekend because I hated the fact that the Commanders had to run into the buzzsaw in Detroit. I did. But now the Commanders have won 14 total games this season. They feel great after coming off the last second win against the Bucs, which everything could change that, right? They doink it off and we're having they doink it off the post and we're having a different conversation. But that's not what happened. The Washington Commanders absolutely dominated this game from start to finish just about. Lions are up 7-3, but then you allowed the Commanders a 28-point second quarter and a 14-point fourth quarter. The game was won there. The game was won in the second half of each half, in the second quarter and in the fourth quarter. Jaden Daniels is so special. I mean, 22 of 31, 200. I'm going to give him to him. 300 yards, 2 tubs. Brian Robinson, 15 carries, 77 yards, 2 tubs. Diami Brown, 6 catches for 98 yards. I mean, you don't even really get the big-time game from Terry McLaurin. Yes, 4 catches, 87 yards, 22 yards a catch, 1 touchdown. That's great. You have Zach Ertz, who's able to perform as well. But Jaden Daniels is arguably already a top 5 quarterback in this league, guys. Let's just call it what it is. Jaden is so freaking special, man. And as I saw him going through college, working his way up draft boards, I'm like, how can this guy not be a top 3 pick, a top 2, not 2 pick? I think the second overall was fair. But if the Bears had to go back and change it, they'd take Jaden in hindsight. Or maybe they would keep Caleb, right? You don't maybe want to think that they would switch everything up. But Jared Goff was very rough. 23 of 40, 313 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. Excuse me. He had 3 picks and he had a fumble, so 4 total turnovers for him. Jahmyr Gibbs had a hell of a day. 14 carries, 105 yards, 7.5 yards a carry. Amon Ra had 8 for 137. Jahmyr Gibbs had 6 for 70. So Jahmyr came out and had a 175-yard showing in a playoff game. And that's nothing to scoff at, right? He was able to spread the ball around. Khalif Raymond, 3 for 37. Tim Patrick, 1 for 22. Even Jameson Williams, 1 catch, only 19 yards. But it's hard. It's very hard to see the Lions go out this way. It is. But Jaden Daniels, again, he is just so special. First rookie quarterback ever with 300-plus total yards in each of his first 2 playoff games. The kid is unstoppable on the ground. You have people calling for Goff's job and his starting position because Jaden Daniels is such a beast. And they're like, he's a statue. He can't move around. Get real, Lions fans. He's never been able to move around. He's never been able to. So get off that. You really think Teddy Bridgewater or Hendon Hooker would have gave you a better shot in this game? Cry me a river, build a bridge, get over it, tear the bridge down, and go to next season. It's what happens when you're good. Losing sucks. You compare yourself a lot. You think as a couch fan, you know it all. You think as a couch GM, a couch scout, that you know it all. And I'm not talking shit because I'm sitting here in a chair doing a podcast, but I know what the hell I'm talking about. No, I don't have prior coaching experience. No, I don't have prior NFL or college football experience, but I've been watching a game for 20 years. It's not hard to dissect it and call it what it is. Y'all see the jersey? Y'all see the memorabilia of New Orleans? You don't think I know how sickening it is to lose in a playoff game? You don't think I know how sickening it is to have your franchise be one of the worst in the league until you turn it around? And I like the Lions come up. I like their story. It reminds me a lot of New Orleans. I mean, the fact that Dan Campbell was a player on the 0-16 squad and now has taken this team to great heights, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. So calm it down a little bit. I think it's really unfair to say that Jared Goff doesn't deserve to be on this team anymore, that you need to go find another quarterback. That's blasphemous to me. And yeah, it's probably going to get even more magnified when Ben Johnson's not there because who's going to be your next offensive coordinator? That will be left to be desired. People saying it's the same old Lions. Get out of your feelings. Get the hell out of your feelings. You just had the number 1 seed, which you didn't have last year. Or excuse me, you just had the number 1 seed. You won 15 games and only lost 2. You had the number 1 offense in the league. And even with all of that, knowing that you had 15 defensive players on IR, not having Hutch, not having Davis, not having McNeil, it really showed its ugly head. Not being able to rally Jaden Daniels whatsoever is clearly a defensive scheme that Aaron Glenn inherited from Dennis Allen when he was in New Orleans. Aaron Glenn's defense clearly cannot handle mobile quarterbacks. Again, he just gave up 45 points at home. You got busted on a big screenplay by Terry McLaurin. I mean, what else is there to draw from the conclusion of that? You just got outplayed. It's okay. You get better because of these losses, right? You get better because of them. Iron sharpens iron. You're not meant to have easy wins the whole time. 15 wins in a season, that feels easy. You already got away with Jared Goff throwing 4 or 5 interceptions earlier in the year. I think it was against the Texans, and you still somehow win. So let the air out of the balloon a little bit. Breathe. It's going to be okay. Yeah, you might fall to 12 or 13 or 11 wins next year and not have to get the 1 seed. But guess what? The 1 seed, I feel like, is a curse sometimes. The Chiefs look rough off their bye. Y'all looked horrible off your bye. You get better from this, Lions fans. It's okay. It's okay. But let me go ahead and give this props to Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury, man. I mean, they're just so magical. Washington in the NFC Championship game for the first time in 33 years. Didn't think it was possible whatsoever. I'm going to just be 100 with you because the Lions were a buzzsaw. They were. And even though that they had 15 players on IR, they were still doing what they could. Now, yes, could Hutch, could Davis, could McNeil have really made a difference? Absolutely. Could maybe even Marcus Davenport had a difference? Sure. Not really going to buy in on it, but sure. But they weren't there. And now you have to learn to stay healthier. You have to learn to weather this storm and give the reins to Washington for this year. They are in the NFC Championship game, and they deserved it. Washington fans are on top of the world. I'm happy for Washington fans, man. I love when a team can not only get sold to the rightful people, but they have a banger of an offseason. I mean, their 3 best moves were Quinn, Cliff, and Jaden by far. You double it down, you triple it down with Austin Eckler, Zach Ertz, Bobby Wagner. I mean, it's Mike Sainristil still from Michigan is absolutely emerging as one of the best defensive secondary players, and he's a rookie. The future is as bright as it can be in Washington. You got to love the 28-point second quarter for Washington as well. 42 points combined, which was the most in postseason history for a second quarter between the Lions and the Commanders. I think the worst call of the game was the stupid call from Ben Johnson. You're down by 10, 12 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and you call for Jameson Williams to throw a pass? What? It was a horrible throw into double coverage. That's on coaching. That's freaking awful situationally. And that right there kind of put the dagger in the coffin for Detroit. And again, man, I hate that because why lose on such boneheaded mistakes? Because Dan Campbell coming out doing an onside kick earlier in the fourth quarter. Oh, I felt like we could get it. I felt like we were going to be okay. Stop rolling the dice, Dan. Stop pushing the chips to the middle of the table. Stop going all in. I get that's what your culture is really built on, and you know what this team is really going to thrive on. But you've seen now it cost you a 17-point lead in the NFC Championship. It cost you the chance to go to a second straight NFC Championship. And at some point, you have to temper your character a little bit because you just got blasted at home by a rookie, 45 points. Cliff Kingsbury was a failed head coach, and now he's one of the best OCs in the league. Last time Dan Quinn was a head coach, it was rough for him in Atlanta. And these guys are pulling it all together. So, Dan, look in the mirror, brother. You're great. You're elite. You're cream of the crop. Everybody will be blessed to have you, whether you're a head coach, coaching staff, whatever. I miss you so much in New Orleans. Same with Aaron Glenn. I won't even get started on that there. But that's on coaching, man. The Lions are about 90% there situationally. But it's that 10 to 15% where Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell get really boneheaded and they just don't know what to do with themselves. And that showed in this one. So clap it up for Commanders fans. Absolutely clap it up for them. They somewhat blow out the Lions 45-31. I mean, screw it. They blew the Lions out. All right, we just call it what it is. The game is over. I turned the game off after they put up the 45th point because it was done. It was done. I'm sorry, but it was done. NFC Championship game for the first time in 33 years. I love Jalen Hurts. I love the Eagles. So I don't know who I'm rooting for yet. I don't know my pick yet. But Washington's got a chance, I'll tell you that. I love Washington's story. I love my boy Jalen Hurts. I'm still waiting for everybody to give him his respect. So it'll be a great NFC Championship game.
Hey, it's AJL here. Appreciate you sticking to the end of the video here on YouTube. You could have chose any other show, but you chose my video, and for that, I'm very grateful. If you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media. Hit the bell on the channel so you never miss a post. Check me out on all social media platforms. Right here, you'll find a chance to subscribe to the show, a related video, and a playlist. See you guys in the next one.